to another show of 51 Insights. Today with Luca Zicconi from Škoda. Luca is the Web3 Metaverse and gaming lead at Škoda. Luca, welcome to the show.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me, Mark. As I said, I wrote you, I'm super excited to be here. I'm a big fan of the show, so I'm looking forward for this conversation.
Yeah, likewise. And today we're going to talk about the Skodaverse. Skodaverse is one of the most impressive and biggest initiatives, I know at least, in the automotive industry when it comes to consumer engagement in Web3, Metaverse, virtual activations, collectibles, gaming, the whole spectrum. So I'm really excited to have you here today and talk about all of this. But before we jump in, I would like to know, who are you, Luca, and why did you end up here?
Yeah, good question. Long journey. Yeah, a bit of myself. I have background in architecture and design, so it's kind of, special this. But I also very interested in virtual worlds from the time, I was a teenager, with the video games and all these sort of activities. So let's say within architecture and gaming, I had this really big interest for this immersive experience in virtual worlds. And then fast forward, working in Škoda, I'm responsible for the digital content. And so what we do actually is providing experiences through the website, skoda.com, and tools like Car Configurator. This is the main role. And from 2020, we start digging into Web3, and now the evolution of the internet could enhance a new way of engaging with our fans and customers of the world. So this is sort of how I came here. And this journey has been crazy, I think, for everybody in Web3. So looking forward to, go deeper.
Yeah, and what's very interesting about you is that you've been at Škoda for over 10 years. You've been in Web3 for, I think, over 4 or 5 years. You were at
correct.
The very beginning when this whole consumer Web3 wave started. And that's why I'm especially interested to hear your opinion in how do you see the market evolve when you compare where we were 4 years ago when the whole NFT craze started and where we are now.
Yeah, when I got into it, it was exactly in 2021 when there was the topic of NFT start to sort of resonate. Even before with the NBA Top Shots, which was actually one of the most interesting and first initiative of a brand, let's say the NBA National Basketball Association US. And from there was kind of overwhelming for me because I was interested in crypto a bit, in Web3 and blockchain especially not so much. So it was more like everybody, I guess. So when the topic of NFT came up, this sort of got my attention. Problem was that it was really difficult to find information about it. So if you remember, if it was on crypto Twitter, yeah, you could somehow following what was going on. But other than this, there was nothing around. So for me, actually, it was quite difficult to start learning and understanding. And then what catch me was because within Škoda, with my boss, Torsten, we started talking about this, blockchain, NFT, how this token could evolve, especially for brands. And this was even before Adidas jumped into the Metaverse project. And even before when Facebook was still called Facebook, or Meta was still called Facebook. But everything, let's say, exploded exactly in, I think, September, October 21, when those two giants and even Nike went into the space and started presenting that this will be the future of the internet. And as a brand, we always need to pay attention to these new trends and these new technologies, which are disruptive. And therefore, we really pay attention. And if you ask me how it changed from 2021 today, I think we saw a lot of things, up and downs. But what is important is that the technology didn't stop. So it's actually probably didn't. We were thinking in 2021 that NFTs and tokenization will be broader adopted quicker. On the other end, still today, there are big brands which still use the technology for different use cases. So I think it's more mature. And it's very interesting because, again, big tech giants are, keep building, bringing new solutions. Recently, there was this cooperation with Visa, MasterCard, with MetaMask, for example, talking about immersive experiences with Lufthansa. announced few days ago they will implement the MetaQuest 3 in their flights. So we can see that the topic is still there and it's getting bigger and bigger. Definitely less hyped as 2021.
Yeah. You mentioned you had those discussions internally very early, even earlier than Adidas.
Yeah.
Why do you think Skoda was so early in this? What does it need for an organization like Skoda to start looking at those technologies so early?
Yeah, in my department is like customer journey. And so what we do is like we focus on the customer experience across online and offline touch points. So for us, as I said before, it's very important to pay attention to this sort of like big trends, and especially because we are an automotive company. As you know, automotive is as we are built, we need to adapt sort of early to make sure that all these new trends and processes are implemented across the company. So what we had done actually was to, first of all, convince the top management of the company that Web3 and Metaverse is not just an hype, because of course, when we started, this was like sort of feeling. On the other hand, we told them like, well, internet usually within the 20, 30 years evolved quite a lot. And there were like big milestones, from when it started, and came social media around 2000. And this probably will be another huge milestones, which will push the thing forward really fast. And we want to be there at the beginning because we believe this is like sort of like to be forefront of technology and culture. And Web3, I think, can resonate with this, So that's actually how we started.
I think that summarizes it very well. Being at the forefront of technology and culture. I think if you did that pitch 3 years ago, it would still be the same pitch, just with a little bit different technologies. And one of those technologies that really is on the rise in the last one and 2 years among consumer brands is gaming. Can you map out a little bit why is gaming so interesting, and why is gaming interesting for Skoda, and how does it compare to those other technologies that you've been looking at over the past 3 years?
Yeah, this is very interesting because exactly 3-4 years ago, I mean, gaming existed decades, but what changed was that when the name Metaverse started to being used, this actually make people realize that, and also of course there was all this around like movies supporting like Ready Player One sort of things, visualizing like what could be a future, far away future. But the point is that people realize that the consumer, or especially the younger consumer, as they spend more time online, they also need more engaging entertainment in that online world. And that's why gaming, and especially this, let's call it immersive experiences, sort of like Roblox, Fortnite, they have crazy amount of numbers, users, and time spent weekly. And then if you go a bit deeper, in the beginning they were just sort of like video game to put people together to socialize. But then brands realize that actually there is a huge potential for them if they want to be relevant and visible for this younger generation, because they are there. And if you, as a brand, you want to be relevant where the people are. And this is actually the power nowadays of the gaming. Gaming is a new social platform. We have Instagram, TikToks, yes, but these are usually kind of passive because people watch content, they create content, but still sort of like very short times of like seconds. They are engaged for just a few seconds. While gaming, since it's more immersive, give you the possibility to really be connected with whatever experience, minutes, hours. And that's actually the true power of the gaming nowadays.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. You looked at gaming, you looked at digital collectibles. Now, let's look a bit closer at what you did with Skodaverse. Skodaverse is what you call today your whole range of new consumer experiences. And can you explain us how did that idea start forming, and how did you approach that concept, Skodaverse, when you started it a few years back?
So as I said, when we started in 2020, 2021, we wanted actually to do exactly two things. One was like create a sort of like metaverse experience where people can easily join to some space and sort of like create their avatars and engage with the brand. Sort of like was never done before. Because until a few years ago, building a sort of video games was really even expensive. So today is actually, as the technology evolves, it's also get more accessible. And the second thing was like NFT were there, this crazy, crazy world. So we wanted to explore it. And therefore, actually, we tackled two things. One was like the metaverse experience. And therefore, we create as a first thing an island called a branded, where people can create the avatar and can explore the latest car. That time was the ENIAC Coupe, full electric car, and also explore the topic of e-mobility. So while you explore the island, there are some touch points where you can learn about the different topics related with the NFT e-mobility and the new car. And then the other one was how these digital collectibles, which are blockchain based, can be utilized to again engage with our fans. And the first activation actually was a collectible for the Ice Hockey World Championship. This was the first one. And then the second one was related with the Tour de France, where Škoda is the main sponsor. So we use our sponsoring activity, which we currently do, and we create collectibles for fans. And this was basically our way to explore this new technology, learn. Also, as an organization, we have a different, areas. There is a legal aspect, there is marketing, there is communication, and all of them, they sort of like to understand that this is a new topic which need to be understood, and also the way how you should communicate is a bit different than regular, let's say, automotive business, right? So this was super interesting, and you can imagine the discussion within the company also how to convince them was very, very interesting moment for us actually.
Yeah, that's actually something I want to talk about more. How did you do that? What were some like tactics you used to form that internal alignment?
So we still make fun with my colleague Teresa. She's part of my team and she's a Gen Z. So it's also good to have young people in the team for that. But what's fun is that, of course, in the beginning, people are like, what are you doing? What's going on? So we had to focus a lot of education, actually. And this was, I think, our success. We onboard, let's say, that the main stakeholder in the company was to really focus on internal education. So through webinars, we're inviting speakers, we are creating like events, physical events where you could go there, see how to create a wallet, claim the first NFT. We had a regular newsletter, internal newsletter, showing what's going on with the industry in general. So we focused a lot on education, and then the next part was to onboard the right people. As I said, we are part of customer journey, but we could not do it alone. So we need to sort of scouting within the company and find the right people which were already interested in the topic. So, we had a colleague in legal, which is very useful and is a fan of blockchain. Somebody else in the social media team, in the communication team. So we sort of created sort of like task force, and together they were our ambassadors in other departments. So this is how we did it. And then, of course, the main one was convince the top management that we could proceed. They were super supportive from the beginning, and this actually made our life very easy. And therefore, you saw within the last 3 years, we really built a lot and consistent. So let's say we were lucky to find the right people, and as well probably good in convincing the organization that was, let's say, worthy to start at least.
Yeah, and you mentioned it correctly. I mean, I think you're one of the most impressive brands when it comes to consistency. You consistently and very actively have announcements around all of those technologies over the last 2-3 years, at least, since I've been following you very closely. So you mentioned internal education, you mentioned building up internal champions, but then also convincing top management to do that. Once you've done that and once you've launched those first initiatives, how did that go? And what was the feedback from customers that you got?
So when, for example, when we launched the first Metaverse experience, the island built on the platform Nemesis, honestly was crazy successful in a way that we even didn't promote it so much. But the good things of the topic of Web3 is that the people who are interested in the topic, they're really passionate and they really engage with us. So what happened was a sort of like a chain reaction that once we launched this, all the people, all the builders, they recognize that wow, a brand which has 130 years history, automotive brand which is a bit more traditional, is digging into this topic. So they sort of like help us to even promote it, and from there actually gave us a lot of like sort of like great and positive feedbacks to continue. So we are lucky that the first activation was really successful, same as an NFTs. We decided to don't sell NFTs like I would say majority of the other brands did. They enter Web3 selling a collection, and we choose a different approach. We decide to enter Web3 creating value rather than extracting value. So we came in, we build tokens in cooperation with the artist, we give it away for free, and on top we also create an initiative called Škoda Vault, for example, that we acquire digital art from the artist, and it's sort of our private collection. So our mission from the beginning Web3 was to create value rather than extracting. So this also was appreciated.
Yeah. So you mentioned those initiatives were successful. If you look at what you've did over those years, how do you measure success, and what does success mean for you?
Yeah.
Is it creating more engagement? Is it creating more revenue? Is it building direct customer relationships in the long sales cycles that car brands have? What is it?
So mainly we had different, let's say, KPIs for different time within this journey. So the first year when we started was the KPI were mainly understanding, like internal education and building expertise within the company. So this was the main, let's say, goal. Then we realized when we start launching the first experience, we realized that actually we had a, let's say, the Nemesis is a new platform. It doesn't have numbers of Roblox and Fortnite. They don't have the audience. On the other hand, we can really customize it as we want. So what we did, we create an experience around this immobility topic. But what
and just
yeah,
quickly look on, and Nemesis is the platform that you built the virtual experience on, right?
exactly the first one where you see the name Skodaverse with the driving the car. And what we realize is that when people enter the platform, and the first we had sort of not crazy numbers of audience, but what happened that they spend huge amount of time, like average was 10-15 minutes. And if you think this like amount of time for, let's call it a sort of like a social media platform, because at the end is a social media platform, it's crazy. On Instagram you get engaged for 1-2 seconds. If you watch a reel, maybe you go to 31 minutes, exaggerating. Here we had 5, 10, 15 minutes according to the experience. So for us, we realized, wow, this is a huge potential to completely change the way how we could communicate certain topic and how to keep the people engaged. So this was one of the actually key success, like how many user enter, how many user create the avatar, how much time they spent in the platform, if they come back once we create a new thing. So we start to understanding all these, let's say, these mechanics, which at the end they were really got completely boost when we launched Fortnite, which we had millions of views and users. And also this give us like global attention because in media as well wrote articles about Skoda entering Fortnite. And the same happened for Roblox, where we launched last year, and currently we had more than 2.5 million visitors. So the numbers are insane.
And I can imagine that it will probably be quite difficult to measure the whole conversion journey of a potential customer from interacting with your virtual experience until he or she ends up buying a car. Is that true, or how do you think about that?
So let's say, I think it's quite difficult because also it depends on who we target. Let's say if we Roblox, of course, the average age is between 9 to 15 years old. So for us, definitely, this is not like a potential customer. But on the other end, we are building presence. So he understands that Skoda is there. So let's say we try to focus on this Gen X, Gen Alpha, so they will recognize the brand and they will be loyal to the brand. And if we talk about other experiences, personally, we believe that if you want to focus on conversion regarding the configuration of the car, definitely the best way is to use, for example, mixed reality associated to the journey within the car configurator, for example. So what we believe is that depending on the goal, there is an exact technology and an exact way how to give the customer a better experience. So if you ask me to sell a car, definitely we should focus rather on experience like AR, mixed reality, rather than maybe a gaming experience, which has a different goals.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a step back and let's look at Skodaverse, how it is today. Can you explain us how does that look like? What are the key components of that experience today?
So when we started, actually, the idea was to create a multi-dimensional experience. What does it mean? If you remember, maybe 2021, everyone will say, okay, we need to build in the sandbox or we need to build in the central end. We completely went different way, but we thought that from the beginning, it's like, yeah, but on the other end, every platform has a different target group. Every platform has a different community. So it makes sense to be present in different universe, different platforms. And therefore, we currently have 4, let's say, major worlds. One is Nemesis, one is Fortnite, one is Roblox, and one is Gran Turismo. And all of them are completely different from each other. For example, Gran Turismo is a car simulator, famous video game on Sony PlayStation. And recently we launched the first Skoda car there, a vision car, designed for Gran Turismo. Then in Roblox, we know that the audience is a bit younger. So what we did together with Skoda Poland, we create an experience to teach the kids how to ride the bikes and how to teach them the rules about biking in the city. Because in some European country, you need to have as a kid a license if you want to drive the bike when you are young. So the game help you to understand all these the road signals and other rules that you need to have, and it's very successful. Then Fortnite is more about, sort of like hardcore game, but where you can do a sort of different exploration using like the Unreal Engine that Fortnite has, which is also quite nice looking. While the first one, which is Nemesis, is more like, for us, is sort of like playground where we can do anything, because the platform is created in a way that you can really build anything. And it's very easy to access, because you can access through a web browser with a regular laptop, so you don't need the PC game, for example. So right now we have these 4 virtual worlds as let's say, immersive experiences. Plus we have other things which maybe you want to ask for, collectibles and other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to ask you about that, collectibles. What role do collectibles play in all that?
So we love collectibles. Personally, I love NFTs, so I'm a big fan. And therefore, the market crash, everything, the interest crash. On the other hand, they are really cool stuff to create and give to the fans and customers. For example, a few weeks ago, we had the launch of a new car, the Škoda Elrock. And during a live stream, we give away hundreds of POAPs, like the digital collectible, proving that the person was following the live stream. So he has a token as an NFT, which can prove that day he was following the world premiere. And in the future, we as a brand, we can re-engage with these people. We can reward them to be loyal across our events even. So it's a very nice way how to bridge digital world and physical world using this token. So we reward them if they play video games, but we reward them even if they go on a physical event.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned a good point here, re-engagement. And a lot of brands who entered Web3 have launched those Web3 activations as a separate program and kept it standalone from all those other engagement activities they've had and even their loyalty program. How do you think about that? Is Skodaverse integrated into your existing loyalty program, or do you keep that separate? And if yes, why?
So we, first of all, I think in general, as a brand, it's very difficult to maintain a Web3 only program, especially if you make it a bit difficult. If you give away tokens where the customer need to create his own wallet and pay gas fees. This is very difficult because we know that our core Web3 community is not that big, and then you can not really make an impact. So definitely, if you want to use NFTs, you need to find a way how to scale it up to be able to make it accessible to your regular followers and fans. Therefore, we partner with the POAP because you can claim tokens just with your email, which is very, very easy way to do. And then once we do this, the idea is that it's already existing. We create a Skoda passport. So it's all based on POAPs. So it's a cooperation between Skoda and POAP studio, where you can enter the page and you can see which collectible you have already. And what you're gonna do is that we will give some benefits based on which collectible you have. So for example, if you have 3 collectibles, you will be able to withdraw some, I don't know, merchandise or maybe ticket for some event. And then the next step, as you ask, is how we should integrate this to our current loyalty programs. So we are working on some ideas how to exactly use the tokens, blockchain based, with our regular, let's say, loyalty programs.
All right. So let's again look back over the last 3 years since you've been running this program. If you now talk to another CMO or CEO of a consumer brand company who considers doing similar things, going into gaming, launching collectibles, what would you tell them? What are some lessons that you've learned or things that you saw that definitely work and things that you saw definitely don't work?
So things that works is that definitely, rather than creating your own experience, if you talk, for example, about the metaverse, so instead of creating your own metaverse, your own experience, is way better to go to an existing one, which can be Fortnite and Roblox, because there you have already millions of people. So and you don't need to attract them in your platform, So you will, let's say, you have to use different tactics how to engage them. But on the other hand, if they're already in the platform, it's easier to let them explore your brand experience. So this definitely is something that works, rather than creating your own very expensive universe that you need to maintain. So this is something I would recommend. And then if we talk about tokens, as I mentioned before, make it easy, because at the end of the day, we are used to do everything with our phone. So also claiming tokens should be that way. Should be very, very easy to, to collect, to claim, and then to get rewarded. So the overall experience should be very easy.
Yeah, and I think one thing that you mentioned before as well is create value and don't extract value. And with that, you meant that do not launch collectibles and sell them to your customers, but think about how you use that technology to enhance the customer experience.
Yeah, because maybe in 2021 could work because that time, there was a lot of attention on digital collectibles. So people were basically buying anything. But we saw that things changed quite a lot. So if today you want to be successful, you need really to think about more like the usage, or why the customer should get your collectible. What is the real utility? That in the past, of course, utility, we know that was a word It was used quite a lot with crazy roadmaps, you know. At the end, customer wants to, first of all, have fun. So if you create whatever tokenization need to be interesting and fun. And as well, the cool stuff of the tokens is that at the end, you can reward for any sort of experience. At the end, it's like you can partner with an artist, you know, create some nice looking token, or you can tokenize a website, like for example we did, where if you have a certain token, you can access a private area where maybe you can read some information that usually are not shared. So you can create this sort of like closed communities. So there are a lot of ways how to make this, let's say, tokenized experience fun, which also could be for us create a game within the metaverse where you can collect some object, and at the end you will claim the token as a reward. So you can be creative, you can do anything in the metaverse. So that's the cool stuff for brands. You know, they can be super crazy, creating really very interesting experiences.
Yeah. And what are some of the biggest challenge that you had to overcome over the last years when building that program?
Mainly, I would say two challenges. One is, like, as I said, like build the team with the right expertise, with the right mindset, because when you are pioneering in this crazy world, you need to be really motivated because, and this, I think, also for us was successful because we are really passionate even privately. This helps a lot because it's a space which move really fast. A lot of things change, trends change. Every day there is some big news, and you have also to be able to focus on the important trends, on the important tools which are available. And the second thing is to have the right support as a brand, right agency, right, let's say, right agency, right people, because we know that there are a lot of experts around there, but on the other hand, it's very difficult to find people who really understand both, which can be the regular brand and, let's say, Web2 marketing, and, let's say, how to engage with customer, but as well how to bridge it with these new technologies. So these were the two, I would say, the biggest challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking about finding the right partners, did that help you that you were part of that community? I know I think you're part of the Yuga Labs community. You're part of World of Women. That help you in finding the right partners, or what were some strategies that you used there?
No, 100%. Especially if you wanna really build in fully Web3 experiences, what we did for some time. You need to partner with the Web3 native, let's say, let's call it agencies. For example, what we have done, we partner with the Limited Inc. Limited Inc. is a UK-based company which create wearables. They call it giving a digital experience. So they partner first with Wrangler. Then I saw it because I'm a big fan of the Wrangler project with Sean. So I found out who did it. Block Culture is the founder of this Limited Inc. And together with him, we create the Skodaverse hoodie, which has an embedded NFC chip in the textile. And when you scan it with your phone, every hoodie is connected with an NFT as well. So when you scan the NFC, you can prove ownership, and you can verify history thanks to blockchain. And this is like insane. Like, it's so easy thing to do, especially for as a customer. You just take your phone, you click, and immediately you can see that this hoodie is yours because there is the name of your wallet. So, and you can do only these things if you really partner with the native companies who actually understand blockchain with the right tools, who can support you even to launch the collectible and the activity within the NFT community. So this is really crucial. And I think brands like Nike and Adidas, they understood it from the beginning. So therefore they did what they did, and was, I think for us, for me especially, was very like inspiring. And as well Gucci. So if you ask me who are the brands that I always follow, is Gucci, Adidas and Nike. These are for me, we want to be on the same level. And maybe funny story for you that some time ago that there was an article on some Italian newspaper, very famous one, saying what's happening with the metaverse. And then they wrote that there are just few brands who actually understood and they are doing it right. And it's Nike, Gucci, and Skoda. So imagine like for us as a brand be in the same discussion as these premium luxury brands is very satisfying, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's cool, and I definitely agree with you. I would even put a lock cost on there
As
as well. I
well,
think
yeah, very good
they
one.
also have
Yes,
a very
yes, yes,
interesting
yes.
program, and Gucci
With the
definitely.
crocodiles, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And if you speak to other Web3 leaders or CMOs, what would you tell them if they asked you, "Hey, Luca, we've been following this for a while, and now we just seen, Nike kind of retreating with their dot swoosh campaign, and we've seen Starbucks exiting Web3. Should we even go there, or what's your opinion about this?"
Well, I think I think you can see actually who really believe in the mission, because even Nike at the end they're not really canceling dot swoosh, they are more like rebranding it because they understood that focusing only on the let's say co-creation of the digital sneakers, of course, was very Web3 oriented, where the audience is not that huge compared with the regular fan base. So cleverly, they decide, well, if you want to target a broader audience, we really need to focus on more like what actually keep the people engaged, which is the experiences, right? So Dotwoosh, I think, is changing more like gaming and gamified experiences, if I remember correctly. Starbucks, honestly, was very nice for them, and also for us was sort of like help us even in the discussion in the past. On the other hand, their mission was always they always claim it was a pilot, so they never officially said that their Web3 program Odyssey will be the future. So somehow they play so on the other hand, if somebody new would like to, let's say, to start, I would tell them definitely they need to watch brands, like they need to watch what traditional brands are doing right now. And you can see Air Baltic, which I'm a big fan of their work. So they use NFTs also together with a loyalty program. Then new things regarding the immersive experiences and gaming. This definitely is a way to go. The NFTs, I will use it more as a sort of like a reward tool, because that's the power of blockchain. Blockchain can actually prove the digital ownership. You should, as a brand, utilize this. Even though, as an automotive brand, there are a lot of use cases very interesting actually using blockchain. Maybe you want to ask for it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we only focused on consumer engagement
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
but I'm definitely interested in hearing more about what you think could be use cases for blockchain in general for car companies.
Yeah, we saw a lot. I mean, and I think will be more and more. Luckily, as a Skoda, we are part of Volkswagen Group. So what we do as well is that we share a lot of information between us, between brands. So I think like the future, I hope, will be, especially in the car, will be tokenize the experience in a way that, for example, if you drive a certain car, you're a loyal customer, you will be rewarded for every kilometer, right? Every kilometer you do with that car, you will be rewarded. And then thanks to that, you could maybe personalize the car in the future as the car are going more and more digital inside. There are more and more screens. Even you saw some car brands are showing the future car with a lot of LED lights that they can also be in the future probably personalized. So using like the tokenization as a rewarding and a way to keep loyal customers satisfied and give them like some perks that they could customize their car in a special way. And as well, the other way is the creating experiences inside the car. Because if you imagine if the autonomous driving will be more and more relevant in the future, then basically we need to find a way how to be engaged in the car while the car is going from point A to point B. And this is something I think what Lufthansa basically announced, because the experience will be similar to being on a plane. You are in a plane, sitting there for a few hours, what to do. So I guess the transportation industry will be thinking, okay, how we can keep engage our passengers while they have a journey with us, and how to make it memorable. So I think this will be a big topic in the future.
Yeah, and also how can we reward and engage our most loyal customers,
Exactly.
which up to now have just been treated like every other customer, right?
Yes, it's what I said.
Generalized.
If you think like for us, the car, when you own a car, the car is a transport, and you spend a lot of time inside. On the other hand, you generate a lot of value for a car industry, and not only because you are driving, you are generating a lot of data. So the future will be probably that whatever data you generate as a user, you will be rewarded if your data are used somewhere. So this, I think, and blockchain definitely can help a lot in this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super exciting. Luca, we're already at the end of the show. Before we end, though, I would like to do a very short lightning round. Those are brief questions with brief answers.
Let's go.
Very juicy. Yeah, let's go. So, first one, driving a virtual car versus a physical car.
Well, for me, I mean, if you like the cars, you need definitely to drive it like in real, if you want to enjoy. On the other hand, the digital cars, you can drive any sort of cars, right? So that's the power of the digital world.
What's the car that's on the top of your wish list?
My Skoda.
A specific model?
Well, actually, there is the L-Rock is quite nice, the new one. It's a nice e-car. We had it will be, actually, I can give a bit of alpha. So this new car will be also present in our Metaverse experiences soon. So people can try it. Yeah.
That's cool. Next question, electric versus motorized cars.
Yeah, I mean, we know the future is electric. On the other hand, I think right now, for me as a driver, also like let's say, hybrid is the way to go, because you can actually get the experience, the best part of both. Personally, hybrid is good, but electric is very fun as well to drive.
NFTs, underrated or overhyped?
Underrated. NFTs, I'm a big fan and always will be.
One thing you would tell every other automotive brand?
They should build a Web3 studio inside their company.
The most exciting consumer engagement platform right now?
Well, I'm a millennial. Roblox is crazy. Like, what's happening there is insane, and how the Roblox itself, they are evolving, is insane. This, like, I don't know where it will go, but in Roblox, they made this partner with I think it was Walmart, or one of those, that you can actually buy goods within the game. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Luca, we're at the end of the show. Thanks so much for joining us. This was highly interesting. Where can people find out more about you, about Skodaverse?
Well, first of all, thanks a lot for the invitation. I really love it. So hopefully we will manage also to meet somewhere in some events. And if people want to follow us, I mean, personally, I'm on LinkedIn, on Twitter, name Skyzik. And of course, Skodaverse, we have the Twitter account at Skodaverse. So follow Skodaverse. And if you want to be, you get all the news about our brand new experiences.
Perfect. Definitely do that. And if you like this show, please subscribe, please share. This helps us keep it going. Luca, thanks for coming. It was a pleasure today, and all the best.
Thanks a lot.